Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to take a look at 10, a 1 to 5 player game published by AEG Games. In 10, you're going to try to get the largest sequence you can in each of the 4 different colors. The person with the most points at the end of the game wins. Let's go ahead down to the table here, give you a general overview of how to play the game, and we'll come back and I'll give you my final thoughts. Okay, so this is going to be a typical setup of the game 10. Here we have a deck set up for 2 players. Now, whenever you're playing a game of 10, you're going to take a look at how many players you have, and they have these little dots on here. If you are playing with a count of this or higher, then you keep these in the deck. Otherwise, you remove them. So, like, see, this has 3 dots. So this is 3 up, and such. So you remove those cards that you're not playing with out of the game, and then you will go ahead and shuffle up your deck. You will also give 5 of these tokens, black tokens, to each player to start, and this handy dandy reference sheet. Now, the goal of the game of 10 is you're trying to get one of the 4 different color sequences in the largest sequence. So in a game of 10, it goes 1 through 9. And when you acquire cards and they go down your area, you can place them down. And you're trying to set out sets. Now, the longest set is the only one that scores. If you have multiple sets of the same color, the longest one scores. If they're the same size, only one of them scores. So with 1 through 9, you would think 9 points would be the most you have, but if you end up with 1 through 9, you will get an extra point, so that's worth 10 points at the end of the game. Another thing to consider in this game too is there's also wild cards. So beyond these 4 different colors of numbers, you have, well, I'll go over these guys in a second, these market cards here. Beyond that, you have wild cards. Wild cards like this can be used in any color line. Wild cards like this can be any number, but they have to be that color they are, like in this case, green. When these wild cards flip, the game is actually paused and they're immediately auctioned off. So in the game, there's some limits. These little black chips, you have a limit of 10 of them at any one time. And you don't want to go over 10 when you're flipping cards. If you do, you bust and things happen. So let's go over how a turn functions. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to draw cards. So if I draw a card, I'm going to draw 3. Okay, so that's 3. My total number is 3. I'll draw another card because I'm fine with that. Now this is 2, but this is -2. So at the end of the round, if I pick numbers, this value goes to all the other players. So right now I'm 3 minus 2, so I'm at 1. So I'm still good, so I'll flip a number. Now I'm at 5. All right, I'm feeling lucky. I'll go ahead and flip again. Now I'm at 4, because this is 3 minus 2 is 1, plus 4 is 5, minus 1 is 4. So I still think I'm good. Oh my. Now I'm down to -1, so I can keep going. Now I'm down to 5, and now I'm at 10. So let's say I didn't flip that. Now, if I stop here, I have a choice. I can take all the number cards, and if I take all the number cards, I'll just put them in my tableau. And again, like I was saying, you try to make your sequence of numbers on your tableau. Or I can take the income or currency here. In this case, it's going to be 8. Now, if I took the number cards, like I said, this total would go to all the other players. But if I take these, I get that number. So I would get, and like I said, there's a max of 10. So I would just get my max 10. These would go over to what's called a market over here. And what these cards are now, what now happens is these cards are available for any player that has the ability to purchase from the market. Since I did not bust, I can purchase a card from the market, and they cost exactly what their numeric value is. So I spend that many of these black chips and put it back into the pool. Now, if I did bust, I would get one of these white tokens, and these white tokens here are actually worth 3 black chips. So that is a way that you can get over 10 for buying power, 10 for all different things. Now, one thing I want to go over real quick is I did talk about if a wild card flipped, the turn gets paused and it gets auctioned off. So if I have a wild card, like let's say this one flips, we're going to stop, and the player to the dealers, or the player to the active players left will bid first. And you don't bid again, so you only bid once, and the player can bid any number they want. So let's say the person to my left bid 1. The next person can bid or pass. So they could bid 2 to beat it or pass. And when it gets back to me, I can decide whether I want to beat that bid or pass. And whoever wins the bid puts the chips that they use to for the number that they picked and put it back into the supply, and then they get the wild card. And the turn continues. So the game will continue until the deck runs out. At that point, the game ends. And like I said, for scoring, you're going to take, and like there's 4 different colors in the game, and you're going to take the largest sequence that you have out in your area and count that as points. So like I said, each card in that sequence is worth 1 point. So if I have 1, 2, 3, or I have, let's say I have a 4, 5 on green, that's all I have, that's 2 points. Now if I have 1 through 9, that's 10 points. You add all that up, and the person with the most points wins. That is the game of 10. Let's go ahead back up to the table here, and I'll give you my final thoughts. Okay, so 10 is a really fun casual game. Now this would be a game that you could play at the end of the gaming night or before, or just take to events with friends and family or people that maybe don't play board games all that often and have a great time. It's super easy to teach, and what's also nice about it is it has a good bit of strategy in it too. So paying attention to what other people have for sequences and being smart with your bids for the wild cards and being smart with what you end up putting in the marketplace if you have to, and the fun element of the little bit of push your luck by trying to get more and more cards when they flip, as many as possible without busting. So this game, I would highly recommend if you're looking for just a fun party style game that's super easy to teach, very portable because it's a small size box that you could just basically take everywhere and play anytime that you have some downtime and have some fun. So that's my thoughts on 10. Thank you for watching.